All right, so Wall Street is used to making all the money. They have the best information, the best research. People that have funds didn't tell some managers. They have control over you. They have control over you. Right now on money. Hey guys, right now on money. Hey guys, right now I'm happy. Wall Street making all the money. Cause people gonna play, and people gonna play, and Bitcoin gonna fake. Get it now. Cause people gonna play, and people gonna play, and Bitcoin gonna fake. Get it now, right now on money. Hey guys, right now on money. Hey guys, right now I'm happy. Wall Street making all the money. Cause people gonna play, and people gonna play, and Bitcoin gonna fake. Get it now. It's the easy for price to move up thing, and multiply that by the insane free money printing of the stock.
And we are live. Hello, Hexicans. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to the Aussie Unrekt Cruise Sunday afternoon chat. Hello to everyone who's watching at the moment. I think we've got five people viewing at the moment. Maybe to chuck a comment in the stream if you are, so I can say hi to you. There's no Aussie Hexicans who are on right at the moment. I think OG43 is going to try to make it, and maybe Jackson later on. But at the moment, it's just me. So, g'day Vin, how you going? If anybody would like to come on and ask questions or shoot the shit, then feel free. I'll chuck the restream into. G'day Russ, g'day BMA. I'll just chuck the link into the chat if anybody does want to come on. Otherwise, I'm just gonna waffle on, answer any questions that people throw up, talk about any comments that people throw up. Sorry about if there's a bit of noise in the background. There's got a neighbour just mowing their lawn, as often happens here. Grass grows like no one's business. We've had a pretty wild week, haven't we? The crash that everyone was predicting, the top, kind of came, and it looks like it's going into a little bit of a bear market. Personally, I'm not so sure how long it will actually last. I know that it looks very bearish, and it's kind of tried to climb back up and come back down. It's been really nice to see Hex just kind of stay strong amongst all of that. Like, we had that monster run up, and then we got a bit of a pullback, not even really a pullback, just at the top of it. I think that the signs for Hex are still really good. I think people are probably just going to chop around a bit until the announcement of the sacrifice stage. And I think when that happens, we might see another little Hex run as people start getting all excited again, and as we have a confirmed date, and it'll probably be very short notice once he does make that. There's been a nice update on the Pulse Chain website, where you can see everything that's going on. Everything's kind of going well for Hexicans. Crypto Twitter kind of seemed to silent down or go a bit quiet, as everybody lost a lot of money on their Bitcoin and their Ethereum and all their alts. And it just goes to show you how, like, Hex is just fundamentally way more stronger. People are locking up the supply so they can earn interest. That puts upwards price pressure as demand either stays the same or increases. I know that I've been onboarding like a madman for the last 2 weeks. There's like a lot of new people coming into the space. I've been onboarding just real, mum and dad Australians, and of all ages, young and old, teaching them about their security and teaching them about how to go about doing all of this. A lot of it's really made it clear how important it's going to be for Pulse to have a direct fiat on ramp. So I hope that happens soon. And a lot of people are also kind of speculating about, like, how big is this going to go, Pulse, and how quickly as well. Like it's a deflationary coin. There's only going to be whatever's in existence, and then all the fees are going to be burnt. And so as more and more people join the network, they're going to, that's going to eat the supply of Pulse. At first, it'll probably be very cheap, hopefully, so that people can transact on the network as much as they want without having to even consider fees. But then as it grows, that will probably increase, and I guess will come a time, sometime in the future, when Pulse will be filled up as well, as more and more people are kind of get on board and start using it, and the network effect really starts kicking in. But I thought, like, a good way to kind of think of it is a speculative play, the Pulse chain, but I think a good way to think of it is that during the sacrifice period, you're going to have all of these people like throwing in these US dollars, and there's some sort of mechanic that's going to mean that it's better to throw it in early, or maybe it's going to be better to wait to throw in whatever you've got, because of those, the US dollar value of whatever you've got either going up. Then you also take the risk that it goes down towards the end. So I imagine a lot of people are going to get, thrown at the start. But then once all of these US dollars are all thrown into this big pile, which will be pretty much all of the distribution, maybe besides a DAO, that looks like that's being discussed, but I'm not sure whether Richard would actually do that or not. He's just looking for ideas at the moment. But let's say you've got all of this US dollars, like, in this big kind of group, in this big kind of bundle, and people are ordered. So depending on when they got in or how much they put in is going to be relative. And then pretty much all of the Pulse is going to be distributed to those people. And let's say it attracts, it's really hard to predict how much it's going to attract. But let's say it only attracts $5 million, but then it could attract $50 million. Let's say it even attracts like $1 billion. I think that would be at the upper limit, but that's a total guess on my part. But even if it does attract $1 billion, that would put it at around $1 billion market cap. And that would put it at like a top 100 or just outside the top 100. And so then if it is doing the same thing as Ethereum and Binance Chain and Matic, but it's offering a deflationary coin that is, and it's like a really good user experience, and the bridge back to Ethereum and back to other stuff is a trustless bridge. I mean, there's such like attractive things. And like, I know that when I got onto the quick swap and I started doing things, to be able to do trades without having to think about the transaction cost was like just so freeing after, being on the Ethereum chain. And I think it will attract a lot of users. I think it will, and then over time. So let's say if we compare that market cap of let's say it's 1 billion or probably something less than that, that's out of the top 100, and it's got all that way to climb over time to kind of reach the market cap of the Ethereum or the Binance, or even overtake them if it is a better chain or a better experience and it has more people being attracted to it, and it's a deflationary coin. So I think that's really where the kind of the big increase in value will come from, and I think it's good to think of it in that respect. So yeah, let's just have a look at some of the questions here, comments. Hex seems, like a little consolidation. I totally agree. It had a monster run up. Now it's just kind of consolidating. G'day, Brennan. How you going, bro? Good to see you. Always love your interesting thoughts and your amazing energy. Like Brennan kind of brought up for me, like like what can we actually do? We've got all this energy and this amazing kind of like all these amazing people who have managed to cut through all the vines of lies and information that's misinformation to get to the really, the interesting knowledge. And and like those people, we're all going to become quite wealthy. And so it's how do you go and disseminate, what do you do with that wealth? That's been what I've been kind of thinking about as it's gone this monster run up. It's like, what am I going to do if I'm in this situation where I have all this economic energy and I want to give it out into the world? And just like Hex has so much misinformation and lies about it, there's so many things out there in the world, especially scientific stuff, which also has so much misinformation and lies about it. And this is a really good opportunity to just start digging into all of that kind of stuff and find it out. Yeah. Oh, hang on, we've got OG43 has just made an appearance. G'day, mate.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good.
What's happening?
Just wondering if I was going to go solo for a bit, or...
Yeah, sorry, mate. I just had something pop up at the last minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound fantastic.
Excellent. Hey, what a beautiful Sunday. I'm not sure how it is up there, but in Melbourne, it is absolutely stunning. Beautiful, not quite winter, but beautiful autumn's day with a relatively blue sky, nice and cool. That's sort of the weather I like. Beautiful day. How is it up there?
Yeah, it's super sunny up here. I went for a coffee this morning, hung out at the beach, and just was listening to the Pulse chat a little bit, just loving all the information being given out and that. A lot of talk about security, which is really interesting. A few times I've popped in there and people are chatting about hardware wallets and how to get the best security and stuff like that, which is really good. And yeah.
So what's we had a chat. We were having a chat last night, weren't we?
Yeah.
Just about some important personal things. But
started looking up. I started really researching Portugal, and I like the sounds of Portugal a lot. I like their crypto tax laws. I like their general kind of tax laws, and I've heard such good things about Portugal.
I've heard that they're going to be changing those laws. That's what I heard.
Okay, well,
I heard that some changes in Portugal are in the works.
They're bumping up the amount of money like that you need to do if you're going for that golden visa. But there's also the 7 visa, which gives you like 5 years. Kind of, and because you can keep extending it, and so you could actually you don't have to go the full hog necessarily. You could just kind of go the D7 and suss it out a bit more.
Or you go for a passport, a European passport, in the easiest country to get a European passport, and then it's valid. You can just go anywhere in the EU. You don't need like a visa. You need nothing. It's like going from state to state. So that's you just pick the country that's the easiest to get a passport. So whichever country that is, I don't know.
Yeah, I really like the look of Portugal. It was just very welcoming to crypto people, and it's a kind of place where you do get like, I mean, you could do the Antigua or some sort of Caribbean island, but then you're kind of like living out on some Caribbean island with not many people, and like Portugal. I mean, I was there years ago, like a long time ago, and I loved it. And that's a place with a lot of culture, so you can kind of like have all that. If you like that sort of stuff, you can live at the beach, but you can also go into a big city and have that urban experience. And then you only have to be there like a week or two throughout the year, and then you could come back to Australia for like just a little bit under 6 months a year if you wanted just to spend summers in Australia. And look, I know I used to do that. I used to tour like theatre shows through
Australia. Australia is like notorious for just like getting you anyway. Like if you can't demonstrate to them when you come back to Australia for good, if you go and then you want to come back to Australia for good at some stage in the future, if you can't demonstrate to them that you actually went somewhere else and just like lived a life somewhere else, and were maybe not even a tax resident, but that you did not have intention to come back, if you can demonstrate that, and there's no set rules, then it's in your favor. But if you can't demonstrate that, they are going to they see it as like a pot of gold that they can raid. And at the end of the day, if you're trying to come back to Australia, it's the ball's in their court. They can. There's no set like, oh, just tick this off the rules. It's sort of a bit up in the air. So if you want to go overseas and like set up and just like establish that you're not an Australian tax resident, you sort of have to leave Australia, and at least it needs to at least look like you're leaving for good. So you're not going to keep your cars. You're not going to keep your cars. You're probably not going to keep your furniture in storage. All these sorts of things. They're going to ask you things like this. Like, they're going to ask you questions that you probably don't think are relevant, but they will want to determine whether you've left for good or whether you've just gone overseas to, not be an Australian tax resident, but then come back later once you've, realized some gains or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think I should be fine. I spent years leaving Australia and living overseas, and then just coming back for Australian summers, and then I'd go back off and I'd be touring like theatre shows. I lived in New York for a couple of years. I like toured all over the Canada and the States, and toured through Europe, and lived in India. For a few years there for a while. And always coming back to Australia for the summer or whatever, and I managed the taxes and everything like that. I just sussed out what the rules were, and it was fine for me. Like, maybe if I'm
the other thing you might
no, but I was poor actor, but they didn't give a shit about me, So
yeah, that might be. It might be a different situation now. The other thing that you probably want to, if that's the way you're thinking, is you probably want to have a look at like the double tax treaties, or the double tax agreements that Australia has with other countries, and then just know that there's a list of countries that if you go to, they've got an agreement with Australia about tax. So that's worth knowing about, and it's worth doing your research on that as well.
Oh yeah, obviously you got to do a lot of research, and you really got to dig into the weeds a lot with all of this kind of stuff. But it seems to me that Portugal is a really good option for us. I haven't looked into whether Australia and Portugal have a reciprocating kind of agreement, but if you're a resident of Portugal, then I'm pretty sure they can't. Australia can't. Australia doesn't have a thing where they tax worldwide income,
they do. Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I've done it before. I've been an actor and I've earned money overseas. And if the rule was that if I spent more than 3 months outside of Australia, I didn't have to declare that money.
How long ago was that?
I probably from between 2000 and I left Australia in 2001, and then I didn't come back until 2005, I think, and then I would just go off and tour and then come back, and that lasted all the way through to 2010 or 11 or something like that, and then I've kind of been back here for the last. Oh, actually, no. Then I started going to India, and I was off in India, but I wasn't earning money in India. Unless I was doing some sort of little workshop or something like that. But it was just such. Yeah, so like
things. I mean, like things have moved on since in the last 20 years. Things have moved on. I mean, there are new things that are coming out in the last 20 years. That
just because you're Australian citizen, if you're resident over in another country, you don't need to pay tax in both jurisdictions. Like that's
you might, mate.
No, you won't. You won't. Oh, I mean, you have to check it out for every single jurisdiction. You're right, but like it's just not. It's not that ridiculous. It's not like because you're Australian, you have to live in Australia.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you you need to, when you leave, if you don't want to be like considered a tax resident in Australia, you need to demonstrate to the ATO at some stage.
I was reading the ATO's website last night, and that just basically means that you spend, I think it was over 183 days outside of Australia.
No, That's not the case, mate. If you go overseas and you come back over a year, like it's just a year that you've gone, they're not going to see you as having left Australia and not being a tax resident.
Yeah, look,
They're
it's going
still going to see you as a tax resident in Australia.
yes, to an extent. But if you're continually doing that every single year, spending only holidays in Australia, then you're
They will. Do you know what they will see that as? They will say you've never ever cut ties with Australia. You're always like you've. That's the way they see. Look, I wish it was like the way you're saying, but I had a really long discussion with my accountant about all this stuff, and they're like, no, if you leave, you need to demonstrate to them that you're going for good.
yeah, but that just
You
means owning property in Australia.
Or owning cars, owning furniture, like
Yeah,
you know,
well, I don't have any of that stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So that for you, that might not be like an issue, but for a lot of people who, let's say, have a permanent residence, or you know, they've
yeah,
got
then it's hard.
furniture, you've got houses, you've
Then
got
it's
like
hard.
yeah, it just adds a level of complexity to the discussion, and
Yeah.
then you just have to be like, if I come back in 2 years, they might like you might have been gone for 2 years, but Australia might say, well, you only left for 2 years. We see that as an extended holiday. You never really cut ties with Australia, regardless of what you say or what you think you have done. You know. So to cut ties with Australia, you sort of need to be able to demonstrate it to them, and then when you come back, they've got all the information. It's like they can throw all this information. They've got the benefit of hindsight. You know, they can come back at you and say, yeah, but you did this, this, and this, and now you're back here. You know, that's just a long holiday. You were always coming back here. Whereas, like, if you've got a house, like my accountant was saying, if you want to go like demonstrate that you're leaving the country, you got to get rid of demonstrate that you're getting rid of all your stuff. Like, you know, you may not want to sell a house, for example, but you can't like keep your house empty for you to come back. You know, you can't like keep it furnished, or, you know, it's just going to look like you've done that on purpose just to like dodge the tax system, and they won't have it.
Simple,
You know,
just sell your house.
hey,
Just sell your house then.
you just sell it. You can just sell your house. Yeah, that's what she said. She said you sell your house,
Yeah.
and then that's a pretty good indication that you're leaving permanently. You know? Yeah, absolutely. You just do that.
Yeah, and it really is just a case of finding what the rules are and then just living within them. Like they'll set whatever rules they want.
Yeah.
Then we get to do what we want. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to live in Australia. Like I mean, I've still got here that I want to come back and visit, but you know, like I'm happy to come back to Australia for 3 months every year just to
You can do that.
friends and family, and then I'll be resident overseas and just coming to Australia for a holiday. So I think that's pretty cool. Hey, T-Bird's going to look into Uruguay. I loved Uruguay. It's a beautiful place. Yeah. Have you been to Argentina or Brazil?
No, I've never been to anywhere in America, in the continent, north or south.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I would like to go to South America. I mean, I'd like to go to North America as well. I'd like to, you know, check it all out.
Yeah.
But I've been mainly a Europe guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't
You're classy. You like it.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that.
You know what's nice? Buenos Aires, Argentina, Buenos Aires in particular, that's like the Europe of South America. If you want the best of both worlds, if you want like amazing restaurants and dance and theater and cafes, Buenos Aires is amazing. Yeah.
I'd like to go and check out South America, because they've got a very South America is like, it's got sort of that Europe. It seems to me it's like got that European. Well, I mean, people who went to South America, well, a lot of them were Europeans, right? Who
tons, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. A lot of them speak Spanish, Portuguese. So it's got that influence. It's got that European influence, and like where my family originally is from, Sicily. I mean, that's pretty much, you think about it, who invaded Sicily? Like fucking everyone, man. So the Spanish, they're all. So there's a lot of crossover. Like when I hear people speaking Spanish, I'm picking up a lot of what's going on. Like I'm picking up a lot of it because there's a lot of crossover with Sicilian dialect and
Oh,
Spanish. A lot of crossover.
yeah, sure.
So I actually think if I went to a Spanish-speaking country, I'd probably pick it up in a year. In 6 months or a year, I'd start like being able to converse to some extent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With me, I always got with the languages. I always got to the kind of level of being able to converse one on one with somebody. But if I was in a group of people and they were all speaking that language, I wouldn't really be able to add to the conversation because the whole
Yeah.
time I'd just be like trying to concentrate.
Yeah, you're trying to digest what's going on,
Yeah,
and you're a couple of seconds behind, and
yeah.
you don't have the time. You can't just respond. You haven't got that muscle memory is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. You haven't got that.
Awareness.
Yeah, that ability to respond on the fly.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah,
man, you know what I did this week?
yeah. What?
I went and checked out, like I was on a website checking out like Mediterranean yacht charters and
Do the islands or something? Hey.
dude, I'm just like I'm just starting to I'm just like I'm just looking at it now because I think that to me it all seems like real now. Now it's all real. We hit we hit 5, 6, 7 cents or whatever we hit. To me this thing it's totally like real. Like it was real before, but now it's like, you know, real with a boot up the ass, It's like for
Yeah,
real. So I was just checking out this. What was it called? It's just like a website with yacht charters and there's all sorts of there's all sorts of prices.
yeah,
There is all sorts of prices.
yeah. Right.
I was looking at some stuff, man. There's stuff you can rent for like 200,000 K per week.
Oof.
There's stuff more expensive than that. That's not even that expensive. There's stuff that's like, I'm talking, big, I don't know how many rooms, but like 50 rooms. That looks like it'd be massive, like massive, massive yachts. And you can just rent them for a week,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be fun to have a meet up on one of those. Just cruise around. Hey.
I was thinking how fun it would be just to get like all of your friends and like family at some stage in the future and just say, okay, like fly everyone to that location and just everyone be on the yacht, like fully catered, like events throughout the day, events at night, like just a full on cruise, like a cruise ship for a week, but on a private yacht.
You can do that up here in Cairns, actually. A lot of people do that for the Whit Sundays and stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
Party at Children of the Graves apartment, his family's apartment.
30-minute boat ride from the Amalfi Coast. Beautiful.
What's the Amalfi Coast? Is that Italian or Greek?
It's Italian.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Portugal is they're starting to go into a phased ending their lockdown. Like they've kind of ended their lockdowns, but on the 30th of May they start going into a phased getting back to complete normal. So by the end of the year, I reckon they'll be like fully normal, and and Australians can travel there fine at the moment. The only trouble we have as Australians is leaving the country. The Australian government won't let us leave Australia.
Yeah.
To me, is just
Well, there's no way to leave because the flights are just. There's no way to leave. There's no flights. Well, there would be flights. Are there flights?
Yeah, there are flights, and you can apply to leave. And I'm just like, why does the Australian government?
Because we're a penal colony. We're a penal colony, mate. So we are actually.
It's pretty disgusting.
We're a bunch of convicts on here locked up on this island.
We're afraid of this thing, and because we're afraid of that, we're not going to allow you to leave. Like, okay, that doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever, especially if other countries are allowing us to go there. So anyway, I don't want to get onto that. That's a bloody. We'll get something will happen.
So you can rent this yacht, right? It's 325,000 euro. I don't know for how long that is though. Oh, it's massive. Oh,
have you got a picture? Do you want to share your screen?
Hang on. Let me see if I can get this up. It's massive. My goodness. That is like a cruise ship. That's ridiculous. No, hang on.
Look
Hang
at
on a
this,
sec.
1,000 hexicans. Wait, how many people does it?
Oh,
You know,
hang on. I've
pay
just clicked back. I will share my screen
8,000
actually. I will share my screen. Just let me.
to Indonesia. Sapper, you're going to be organising that, mate. Let's do it.
All right, there we go. It's like, look at that, something
That's
like that. But I'm just putting the Mediterranean. Let's forget about price range. Let's look at.
who's going to drive it?
You probably have to pay someone on top of the price that you.
Yeah, you have to get a
Well, mate,
captain. Well, you'd think they'd throw in a captain for that much money.
oh, I know, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd throw in a captain.
Yeah.
Gee, that would look at that.
Oh,
That's big enough. I can. Hey,
dude,
I'm
that
not. I
wasn't that.
don't want too much. I don't want too
Yeah.
much. But this thing right here that I'm seeing here, that would tick all the boxes for me. I don't need some huge thing. This thing is big enough.
Yeah.
How many levels are there? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels.
Yeah. No, that'd be sick, mate. Cruising around the Mediterranean with that, stopping in ports, going and partying in a town, coming back on, eating ridiculous amounts of seafood.
You could fish. You could fish just yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it out. Mediterranean, and what kind of yacht? Not a diving yacht, not an expedition yacht.
Sapper thinks it's a bit too pointy.
Bit pointy. Is it a cruise ship? Would we say it's a cruise ship? A motor yacht?
That looks like a cruise ship to me. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know what the definitions are, but
What size? Oh no, cruise ships are only 200 plus feet. That might be too big.
we need. How many cabins does it have? Does it say that?
Yeah, that's what we need. Guest numbers 18 plus. Let's see what we got for guest numbers. Can we search a yacht bait? Hang on. Sea Dream. The Queen Mary. Oh, just for a like 1.8 million euro.
Is that
For how?
is that to buy it or
No, that would not be to buy it, man.
no? Probably not.
That would be way more expensive. That's just to like
To a week.
just to use it, man. Oh, there's a 36 person crew. Look at that. There's a crew of 36 people.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell you what. We're going to be able to give a lot of people some work. That's for sure.
yeah, man. We're going to be the drivers of the economy.
Yeah.
This one's pretty pointy as well, hey? Look at that one.
Yeah, they're all pointy, Zapper. Yeah, I don't think you get a boat that's not pointy.
You'd have to get an inflatable dinghy.
Can you get round boats? I don't think so.
Hang on. I'm gonna refresh. This site sucks. I have to refresh it every time I want to do something. Okay. Motor yacht. Let's try motor yacht. Something a little less, because 200 plus feet is very big.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do want 18 plus people. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm dropping that much money.
Well, what about like a 200 cabin one or something? Can you pick by how many people?
These are just getting bigger. These things.
Flying Fox. Tis. We used to have neighbours when we were growing up as kids, and me and my sister would just be swearing our faces off at each other, and the girls next door would be going, "Tis, tisn't, tis, tisn't." That's how they argue.
That's how they argued. Very polite.
Yeah.
Were they English?
No, they were, well, Australian, but pretty Anglo-Australian, I suppose.
The Esmeralda. These are all massive, and this is like
Let's just get a fleet. Let's just hire a fleet. Let's just go.
This is crazy, man. I didn't real like this. I thought it was like. Hang on, I'm just confused about what these prices mean.
Could be to buy it. No.
No way, man. There's no way that something like that would only cost, like a
1.8 million euro. No,
it's like a very nice house in a decent suburb in Melbourne. There's no way that
1.8 million euro. Nah,
a very nice house in a decent suburb in Melbourne is like well over 2 mil.
that's pretty nice. Yeah, but it's so inflated and overpriced house prices in Melbourne. Like
Look
you
at
think
this.
there'll be a few of these that need buyers.
You could have 36 guests on this. 36 guests.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That'd be a way to do it, hey? It'd be so funny.
Oh, look at that bedroom.
Well, straggly
Holy moly. Holy moly. And look, just imagine the view that you'd have.
Wow.
That's the bathroom. This is just opulence. This is just like...
Actually, I think Overwatch said that he was looking for islands to buy. We could sail to his island.
Could sail to his island. Man, this website is not as good as I thought it was. I thought this would give me like how much it would cost for how long. Like they just put 3.5 million euros there. 3.5 million euros for what? What are they talking about? Hey, anyway, enough of this, mate. This
boat porn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So what are we thinking of Pulse this week? I mean, what are your thoughts? They're sort of tightening up the screws. I think there's a bit more agreement, maybe in the secret Pulse chat.
And that's yeah. I don't know. I get the feeling that Richard's just going to do whatever he wants. It's funny seeing people trying to come up with agreement. I'm like, why do you need to come up with agreement? Just put out ideas, and he's just going to pick whatever he wants to do and tweak whatever he wants to do. I don't think we need to spend much energy trying to come to an agreement because everyone's, it's very hard to predict how this is all going to, turn out anyway. And it's hard, because you want FOMO and you want to reward the big whales, but you don't want to let the little people get left behind. Like the whales might say, we don't want socialism, but then we also don't want socialism for the rich. So, and you want everyone participating to feel like they're getting value out of it. And then it's also like with Hex, we had the big payday that induced FOMO towards the end of the launch. But with this one, if you throw everything, all the incentives right at the start, then what happens as that 30-day period goes along? Like, is it people FOMOing in to get the price, to get a better price before it goes down? Or are the last 10 days people are just like, oh, everyone's already got all the good deals. I'm just not going to
That's why I proposed the tit bonus.
Yeah. I noticed that. That's a good idea. I can't remember how it worked, but I remember thinking, I don't know if that'll work as well as you think, but it also means lots of Ethereum gas transactions. And I think that, especially for small players, you don't want to have too many.
Not necessarily. What that meant was not that you had to put in all the time. It's just that if someone started beating you, like I'll explain it for the audience. That bonus was proposed to reward people for maintaining a position in the pool for 80%, and that's an arbitrary number, 80%. It could be 70%, it could be 60%, whatever. But I just said for 80% of the launch phase. So if you got in, let's say day one, and you put in a lot on day one, and you, let's say, were maintaining in the top 10%, and then in the last 10 days, let's just say that the US dollar value of all cryptos just has doubled or tripled in that 30 days, which is, we know that's Very possible. That shit can happen, right?
Especially with
So
Hex.
so that would just that would disadvantage those people who got in early, right? So what this bonus would do is that would give the person who was in early and had like maintained their position in that top 10% for 80% or more of that launch phase, that would give them an extra bonus. And that would favor them over the person who comes in at the end and just comes in over the top if the dollar value is in their favor. So it's sort of, if the dollar value is in their favor, it would just favor the people who have been in earlier, to some extent.
So you're giving some sort of bonus for time spent in the
time spent, let's say in the top 10% or time spent in the top 50%. It could even be time spent in the top 80%. Like if you just, it could be something like that.
So people are making all these great suggestions and all these different, such a variety of suggestions. But we also have to remember that we really need to keep it not so complex as well, that we can't explain it in 1 minute.
Yeah.
2 minutes at the most. Like it's a pitch, and we want to be able to say, this is what you do, this is and so people can understand the game and they can grasp it very easily. Because I think maybe one of the problems of the Hex launch was the complicatedness for a lot of people. And when people see all of that, is that it's too complicated and they can't understand immediately, then that's why their reaction was, no, it's a scam or it's a this or a that, because they couldn't take the time to go and understand it. And so yeah, it's all lots of.
I agree with you. Simplicity, and yeah, that sort of that idea is not. I guess it's not the most simple thing in the world. I mean, it's not that complicated, but it's not the most. I get what you're saying. You just want to say, oh, this is what it is. It's like, if you do this now, you can get this bonus. And then, but I guess what you also want to build into it is just some level of, people who just show that allegiance or faith at the beginning. You sort of, that needs to be rewarded. But then at the same time, if someone just goes all in at the start, do they get screwed if the price pumps towards the end? And that's the game. And that's sort of where the element of gambling comes into it. It's like, how's it going to work out? That's not a game when you're relying on, the price. But I guess it's the same with the Hex launch. It was the same thing exactly. I mean, it was a 350 odd day launch phase. So the price of crypto fluctuated in that time. So it might have cost you a lot more to get 1 ETH to put into the adoption amplifier, 6 months into it than it was in December. So yeah, I guess that you can't really get rid of that. That is just that is the market. You can't get rid of that. And you're never going to get consensus between like how many people in that room? 60 people, and there's maybe 20 active, people beating drums in there. Yeah, you're never going to get consensus. Between all those people, ever.
And so don't bother spending time trying to build consensus necessarily. Just give your idea and discuss the idea, but like in the end, it's all Richard. He's going to read it. Well, he's going to decide. Hey, I wonder how close he actually is. I feel like it's really close. Do you think he has to get the website all schmicko before the sacrifice phase, or?
Yeah, that would be good.
It'd be ideal, obviously.
It doesn't need to be, it doesn't even need to be a complex website. It just needs to look a little bit, not just pulse chain with like an image and then text.
Yeah.
But it's not, we probably need to, the community probably needs to go in and do that, I would have thought.
Yeah. I think I think thinking of it in terms of, what about, because look, Hex is still, I think, such a great value proposition just to be holding liquid Hex and apart from your stakes, let's say, like the stakes are all going to come over as well. But if you're at the moment holding, and most of us will probably have lots of stakes. So if you're holding liquid hex, it's kind of like, well, what percentage or amount do you put in? And like what Richard suggested, which was 2/3 sacrifice, which after it gets copied means you have kind of equal, because you've got hex on both sides and you've got the pulse, which is the 50-50 bet. That sounds like pretty sensible, doesn't it? Where are your thoughts on that?
I think the parameters of the launch phase need to be established before you can really decide which is the best way to go about it. But if that's coming from Richard, then it's probably not a bad way to go. But there's so many other like the day that you get in. I mean, that's just like how you split up what you're doing. But then what time you get in and how you get in is probably going to have more an effect.
We got a surprise guest who's just popped up, Mr. Unrekt. How you going,
boys?
bro?
Yeah,
how
good.
you going, mate?
I can't see you very well. Can you hear me okay?
Fantastic. Sound
We
good.
can hear you.
You in the
How are
lounge?
you?
Hey, I'm in the lounge.
You being a taxi driver today?
Taxi driver, yes, I am. I've got to take my daughter to work in another hour or so. We just got all the kids with the cousins, and we're just having lunch. So I thought, look, I'll sort of change the plan. So look, thought I'd come on and say good day to you. I can't see you for anything. I've still got the same issue as last week because I'm on my mobile, and I'm sort of still. There's just too much glare where I'm sitting at the moment.
You're looking very relaxed, mate. Very relaxed and
stylish.
Stylish
as ever.
You know what? I was down at the one of the local. I was just running an errand the other week, and or just the other day, and I walked into this modest African shop, and I thought, and I walked in there, and they had all this stuff, all this bling bling, like fake gold chains and everything, and I saw this hat, and I thought, oh, that's really good, and then I thought I'll grab that, so I grabbed this hat, and it was only cheap, and then when I went around and saw my daughter, she just rolled her eyes, and she's like, oh, you wearing fake Gucci?
Is that up-shop Gucci, is it?
No, she's like, look, it's got the G on it. Oh, righto. How you going? Hey, on day 43. I haven't caught up with you I haven't caught up with either of you blokes for a while. I've been a bit trying to keep a low profile. Just sort of step out, step in, step out, step in. The whole crypto thing gets a bit, it wears you down a bit. You gotta sort of recharge your battery from time to time, don't you? Run out of things to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been all right, mate. I've been all right. Just dealing with the life, kids' life.
Yep.
All the stuff, all the usual stuff. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, things will be a bit more free for me. Just from I've just got a lot of stuff in the next couple of weeks happening. But once that passes, then I look forward to being able to, devote a little bit more time to speaking to you guys and perhaps following the Pulse launch very closely.
Yeah. I mean, Bluey, so you're on the dial with the Pulse stuff, mate. How's it all looking, mate? Because I mean, like, I'm in no man's land. I really am, and it's like I guess I'm not really that concerned because I know I've got big bag of hex like I'm happy with. So what's the? I mean, I know there's always that push for more. There's always more is more or whatever. I don't know.
Can I just jump in and
you go, mate?
Mate, I think that your attitude towards it is perfect. If you can't be bothered following the Pulse stuff, I mean, and you're happy with your bag of hex, mate, that's perfect. That's fine. There's no problem with that, mate. No problem with that at all. I think that works perfectly. Don't worry about it. You're a winner regardless. You are a winner regardless. You've got your bag of hex. That's it. It's going to be on the other side, on the Pulse side, and it's the reason I think the reason that a lot of the hex community are taking to this and are interested in the launch is because it's a project that's being launched by Richard, and we all have a great deal of respect for his capabilities in this department, you know.
Sure.
So I think that's why we're all just like, you know, waiting with bated breath to hear what the details are, so that and there is a bit of like, we can't help ourselves but want to also throw in something so that, you know, in case it does you know, do something crazy, which it probably will. Let's be honest, eh?
Right. I mean, if Hex is anything to go by, come on. You got to go. You got to get some. Got to go. Got to be in it to win it, eh?
But we don't know what the game plan is. Like, we don't know. We know that the game plan is to get in the launch phase, but then, you know, I've heard people say that they're just going to wait until after to get in and just buy on the market. But I can't help but think that the launch phase is always going to be a better deal. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I think the launch phase will probably be the better deal. Like what I was saying before, like the launch phase is to divide up like all of the pulse in existence, apart from maybe obviously apart from what he gives out to Ethereum, but that's only 0.01%.
Oh, but there's a DAO. There's a
Well,
DAO as well.
we don't even know. I mean, he's just asking for a DAO idea, so we don't even know if that's going to come to fruition or not. If there's going to be pulse set aside for the DAO, but let's say we don't know that. So let's just say like it's 99.9% of pulse is going to be distributed in the sacrifice stage. So if the sacrifice stage attracts $1 billion, I think that's at the real upper limit of how much it'll be able to attract. But I've got no idea. But it could attract as little as $100 million, you know, and at $1 billion, that puts it at the market cap of around a top, just outside the top 100, or maybe just inside now after the crash. So around the top 100 in terms of market cap. So it has all of that way to grow after launch. And then it really just depends on your time horizon.
Where do you get this $1 billion? Like, when you say $1 billion, do you mean like $1 billion worth of USD crypto being sacrificed?
Yes.
Okay, which is different than a market cap.
No, but that's what the market cap will be essentially, because people will be spending their equivalent US dollar, and they'll be getting however many coins, and they're going to go and add them up themselves and work out how much they paid for them. But basically, it's going to be nearly 100% of the coins, and so that will pretty much be the market cap at the start on launch.
I would argue that the market cap would be more than it, and like in reality, because that crypto that gets sacrificed, most likely you could, because it's going to be a distribution of different cryptos, you could most likely sell it onto the market and get close to $1 billion. You know, maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's going to start at next to zero. There's going to be people put them.
No, but I'm talking about the sacrificed cryptos, right? So you're going to have all these sacrificed cryptos. They're going to be in different. They're going to have Bitcoin. You're going to have Litecoin. You're going to have, you know, whatever. You're going to have ERC20 tokens. You're going to have all this stuff, and because it's all different liquidity pools, you could probably sell that into the market and get like a lot of that money in USD, right? Whereas the actual value of Pulse itself, like whatever market cap that ends up being, the second you start selling into that, it's like you never get like the actual market cap of what, you know. But that's with any pool.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking as well as the people who do put in money during the sacrifice, they're not going to sell their Pulse. They're not going to dump it on the market, I don't think. You know, they're not going to.
No, I don't think so.
Too much. I think they're going to hold it. They're going to really highly value it. And so I'm thinking that they will wait for a multiples of X until they do sell some of it, you know? So the market cap will probably go up pretty quickly at the start. But then you kind of think, well, how high can it go? And so then you maybe compare it to BNB or to Ethereum as the kind of the leaders at the moment in that kind of coin. But, you know, Pulse will obviously be different because it'll be deflationary. So it'll have fee burning, and it'll be 0% inflation. So maybe it goes even higher than those ones. But then it's also like, what time horizon? Does it happen within the first 6 months? Does it happen within the first few years? So there's a lot of unknowns. But I think that's how you look at the value, like in terms of what you're sacrificing, that's how you look at what that value will be into the future.
The Hexicans are going to be the best at having strong hands, though.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be the best at that because we're just like that's just in our DNA.
Hey, you know what, Day 43, just on that, I guess the community strength and so forth, as you say, the smarts within the community. Like, I mean, you know, I'm a relative newcomer to crypto, but I tell you what, when you get into Hex, you learn crypto really fast. And case in point, you know, and you know the Joker. He's the crypto Joker.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
He did stream today.
Yeah, was it today? Was it? Okay, so I watched his new. I don't know, it might have been his first new episode where he's just on YouTube talking about Hex. Mate, he's smart, eh? He knows his stuff. Not only he's got all the clever tricks and that with the clown foolery and whatnot, but he's actually knows his stuff. And you think, well, you know, he only really like that whole thing with the Hex News doing the raid or whatever, and then onboarded him live on stream, and then all of a sudden 8 months later, he's like, man, this guy's as good as anyone in crypto, isn't he? Really? Like,
Yep.
That's what I think, and I just think that Hexicans have been
Absolutely.
like the best education you can get in crypto. I mean, starting from Richard Hart. I mean,
Just coming back to that question though of how much to sacrifice if you're holding a big bag of Hex unrekt. Like,
Yep.
I would see, like, I think it's going to be a competition between Hex and Pulse as to who gets more value over time and
Okay.
who gets more of a multiple of that. And I can easily see Hex beating Pulse in that sense.
Well,
P-Hex is going to
Hex,
smash.
isn't it?
P-Hex is going to smash it.
Do you think?
P-Hex is absolutely going to smash it. It's going to do so well.
Yeah. Imagine all of these people who just wanted to get in a small way, and the Ethereum prices have just completely priced them out. There's months and months of those people who just want to dabble and try out short stakes.
Yeah.
There's all that pent-up economic energy.
There's a
That's
lot
why-
of them in the world at the moment moving around looking for places to go. Like, and we're talking like big non-crypto whales with managed funds worth, you know, I know, for example, a couple of guys are managing like $70-80 million funds, like, you know, and they know about Hex because I told someone who told them.
They should get into Pulse.
Hey,
Those guys are the perfect candidates to get into Pulse because they can actually be whales in Pulse.
yeah, right.
They can
Yeah.
be whales in Pulse, those people.
I still haven't got past the bit about, okay, you got Hex on Pulse and you got Hex on E. I understand that they're two different coins, but like, yeah, I don't know.
One's going to have a different dynamic. Like the P-Hex is going to be something that like you can stake and you can you can do small amounts and you can do it very cheaply. It's going to have a different dynamic to
Yeah.
Ethereum. The E-Hex is going to be like you really need to go longer because you need to justify the cost of unstaking, and it needs to be big and long. You know.
It'll be interesting to see if like as people start using Pulse more and more, if that actually does alleviate the high fees on Ethereum. That would be great.
I saw
Well, I had-
on Etherscan 33 Gwei. Like I don't know if it was last night or this morning.
Yeah.
33 Gwei.
It's really cheap Sunday morning. Sunday morning about 7 o'clock at 7 a.m. is the best time. I've researched it, and it drops right down on a Sunday and even on a Saturday.
That's where
But-
everyone's out on a Saturday night in the US. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but that's just what it is. I've looked at it on the.
Unless ETH is crashing, but like generally speaking, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in midday to late afternoon in Australia is fantastic, and unless you have that case where it's crashing, and then everyone is just jumping on trying to sell their stuff or swap their stuff or grab a good deal or something.
ooh, Ethereum is $2,298,
Wow.
It's low, isn't it? It's gone down.
and it's 33 Gwei at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin's pretty. It's only 37.6.
I think DCAing on Ethereum right now is not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think
It's
you're
not a
right.
terrible idea. I think long term, obviously, if you bought it cheaper earlier, that's great. But long term, I just don't see this being a bad play. Like, I don't know how far below 2000 it could possibly go. But I don't see it going
I can
very
see
far.
Bitcoin going down more.
Hey,
I can see Bitcoin going down a lot more. I wouldn't
yeah,
be surprised if Bitcoin goes down to 23, even 25 or
yeah,
something like that.
I could see that.
But I think eventually people work out that holding US dollars is assured to lose value, and then slowly, we just go back into another bull. Like I can see that kind of transpiring over time. So maybe now's a good time to dollar cost average into crypto if you're looking to if you're outside.
Not a bad time.
It's the
Actually,
best.
I might send that out to my group. I've got a group on WhatsApp. I'm going to send them out a buy the dip message.
That's it. Buy the dip.
I can
Yep.
see as soon as the announcement comes at the sacrifice stage, though, that Hex starts pumping again. I think
Any
that'll
idea when that's going to be, Bluey? When have you got any predictions on when those couple of months away still, or is it?
I could be days away. No, he could come out with a thing tomorrow and say we're doing it in a couple of days. I think it could come very very quickly, and or it could be a week or two. I can't see it being longer than 2 weeks, but it's a complete guess on my part.
Have you gone out and got yourself a job and everything, Bluey? I heard. What's going on there, mate? You're just trying to.
I got headhunted. I'm a Hex and Pulse expert.
Right,
Yeah, Jax gave me a job.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, it's really.
Hey guys. I have to duck out. I've got to go feed the kids.
Before you go,
I would love to keep chatting with you actually, but I really got to go.
just a quick one for you, day 43. I'd love to chat with you too, mate. But what do bogans use for protection during sex?
What do they use for protection
During sex,
during
Bogan.
sex?
bogans. You know a bogan?
Yeah, we know what bogans are. Well, none of the chat will, but we know what bogans are. What does a bogan use for protection during sex?
Shelter. A bus shelter. They use a bus shelter. But I don't, Louis. So you didn't take an open stubby to your job interview with Jexer, I hope. No, you're not
Yeah.
gonna get.
Well, there was no interview. It was, do you want the
Right.
job?
Nice.
See you later, day 43. Thanks heaps for coming on, bro. Yeah. I think you're muted or something. See you, mate.
I'll speak to you guys soon. All right. Take
See
care.
ya. Yeah.
Oh, so we just shoot the breeze. Happy Sunday.
Lazy Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun job. It's been tiring me out, but it's really nice just onboarding like loads of Aussies. And
Yeah, right.
it was interesting. I think someone mentioned before that Hodl Dog was saying there was only a big uptick in Google searches in Australia, and I'm not surprised. I've been like on the phone to heaps of people every day. What are you doing?
Sorry, mate. I'm getting bloody
Getting messages. You've also got a radio in the background going on, I think. That's something you can stop.
Mate, I slept in my swag last night. I've got to put one of these new fancy pants swags, and I got one of these phones that doesn't have a US, doesn't have one of those like the 3.5 millimeter slot, and it's just use a USB-C. And I was setting up the swag, and I just ripped the headphones apart. So yeah, I've just got you on speakerphone basically. So hopefully we won't get too much reverb or feedback from there. But look, it's just background noise. I've got I can't go in there. There's a bunch of teenagers and screaming kids all bouncing around.
Yeah.
So that's why I come out to the truck. I thought I'd just better sort of come on and say good day, and just to say, mate, like you're doing, mate. I've been watching you on the streams, and you really do know your stuff, man. So
you're going to have to explain to children of the grave what a swag is.
A swag, it's basically just like it's like a low-lying tent that just on the ground that basically only goes up a few feet, and you just lay it down wherever you go. It takes about 2 minutes to put up. You just lay it down. I got one of those Darchie Airvolution 1400s, and it's like you don't even have pegs, mate. You don't even need pegs for a start, and you don't even need poles. Like, it's just basically plug an air pump into it and it pumps up. Like, you know,
An air pump into it. Normally they're just little mattresses, aren't they?
Nah, it just pumps up with an air pump, and it's just got like a 50 mil. Like, really, the mattress, like, it's only 50 mil, but I tell you what, it's really good.
Yeah,
mate, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a double one?
Yeah, mate, I got a double one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Nice.
Of course, I'm back down to the VD clinic tomorrow. First thing.
That's what happens when you get a double swag.
Oh, I know. It's like,
You haven't had much luck with that stuff, have you?
oh, it's just like, you know, takes the fun out of it when you got to use a raincoat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
that's a risk you run. Here in the mean streets of Logan.
Main streets of Logan. Beautiful.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, you looking forward to the Hex meetup, the Aussie Hex meetup?
Yeah, I am, mate. I am. I feel I need to do a bit more. So I had a bit of a having a bit of a chat with JFK 666. We were gonna do a bit of an icebreaker in town just to discuss things, and it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna have speakers? Is there any formalities, or is it just
Hang out?
Yeah, I don't know. So and then he messages me last Sunday. Oh, where are you coming into town? I'm like, mate, I'm up the sunny coast. So I thought he meant today, and then I messaged him yesterday. Do you mean today? And he's like, no, he's working shifts and things. So I want to catch up with JFK 666 before that. But I am looking forward to it, to be honest with you. Well, it's going to be good to actually sort of press the flesh a little bit and meet some of you guys and see who comes out of the woodwork, because I think pretty sure there's a few lurkers around.
Yeah,
Hey.
totally. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just tossing up whether either to fly down, or I might even just buy myself a car and just drive down.
Yep.
How long does it take from Cairns, do you reckon, to get there?
You know what? I've done this because we were coming up to Cairns, and I obviously had some engine issues and things like that, and I've got to get the suspension and everything tweaked on this truck before I go on tour proper. But mate, it was something ridiculous, like $50 to jump on a plane and go to Cairns. It's like,
you can't beat that, eh?
So cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to fly than it is to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, you do the drive because you want to, experience the journey or whatever, and take your time and see the countryside. Where if you just want to go from A to B, you can jump on a plane and you're there in a couple of hours, if that.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's probably the way to go. Yeah, it's actually as far from Melbourne to Brizzy as it is from Cairns to Brizzy.
Yeah, which is about 34-hour drive.
T-Bird's right. It's in his backyard, hey? First night in Nimbin.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. He lives somewhere in the hills there.
Actually, we're going. Actually, I have to look up T-Bird because I'm actually heading down to Mount Warning either probably Thursday afternoon. After I've just got one more. I've got a couple of training sessions I've got to deliver in the tech park, and then after that.
Are you winding up this?
Oh, mate.
Still not.
I am. Look. You know what? I'm working on a number of fronts with that. Like, look, mate. What I say? I've still got clients, and I don't want to just rinse me clients. Like in a business that's taken me 5 years to build up. What I'm trying to do now is, I know some other businesses that are doing fire protection and things like this. I'm going to see if I can get a bit of a memorandum of understanding with a couple of guys I know in the industry, and they want the intellectual property that my business holds. They don't have. I can basically give them the expertise and all the tools and everything, and it will just bolt on to another business, and then I could do that, or I could just get someone in and just accept that the business might lose money for a year and just suck it and see what happens. Just let it run for a year, but and just to allow me to sort of step back a little bit from the weeds and the rats and the mice. And I mean, it's just like when you run a small business, mate. It's virtually just it's like a job, mate. Like except
it's worse than a job because you can't. It's never ending. You can always do more, can't you?
That's
like,
right.
It's infinite amount of work, especially if it's marketing or anything like that. Like you can always be putting more energy into it, can't you?
Yeah, it just becomes like a millstone, mate. And it's like, yeah, you know what? And I mean, yeah, I'd rather just like, okay, look, let's just step change into something else, find another niche, like what you've done, mate. I think that's brilliant that you and Jexa have teamed up like that. And you know, maybe there, I don't know, maybe there is an opportunity in that industry. I'm not holding my breath, but you know what? It doesn't even matter. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I follow the money, mate. Always been out and roll my sleeves up and get the job done and get stuck in. But like now, it's like, well, it's almost like a paradigm change. Like, I mean, it's gone better than I could have ever hoped or expected to be in a position of strength like this in the crypto space with just purely through getting a good line in on Hex and buying it and holding it and staking it.
And especially when everything is crashing around us and we're just like fine, you know, like.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best product. I mean, I reflect very fondly on the past 18 months, Bluey. I mean, it's changed my outlook tremendously, and I'm very grateful for that. You know, backing myself into investing in Hex because, you know, it's just been wonderful. I don't know what to say. It's doing so good.
Yeah. And we really get to see Hex now in a bit of a bear. Like, I'm not sure how long the bear, if it's really a bear or how long it will last. Maybe I think it might just be a short one because I don't see them changing anything in terms of, you know, the fiat money.
Yeah.
But we get to really see now like what Hex does in a bear, and it's actually quite pretty exciting because if it does keep just going up while everything else is just chopping around or going down, more and more people will have to start having eyeballs on it. And when Pulse comes out, like there's going to be, especially if that does well, more and more eyeballs are going to like be going to Hex.
Yeah.
And you know, we're getting better at explaining it now. You know, like when people say, "Oh, how can you offer so much interest?" It's like, well, actually, we can. You know, like it's a contract and it just pays it out. It's just paying inflation from the future.
Oh, it's brilliant.
So, you know,
hey, mate, I was going to ask you with your job, and I don't know if you can not answer this or not, but what exchanges do you prefer? Because I've been having a bit of silly buggers with exchanges lately. So what are you guys using? Who do you guys?
Me personally, I've only ever used BTC markets, and it was purely because when I was researching, they offered the best spread and the kind of lowest fees for the best spread at the time, and then I started using them, and I've never had a problem with them.
Okay.
And so I've just used
Good.
that, BTCmarkets.net. And although they did have that one instance where they let out some people's emails, I think, but I don't think I was caught up in that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of what the company that I work for, what they kind of suggest, I think they suggest CoinSpot a lot, but that's because it's such a simple interface.
Yeah, I use CoinSpot.
But it might not be good for you because I think they have $2,000 daily limit.
Mate, I started on CoinSpot, but this is where I see that this is where I'm starting to see that the potential in the future that there's going to be bottlenecks, and there's going to be like you're going to be challenged getting your money off, getting your money out, and you're going to have to take a risk with you know, particularly when you're talking large amounts. And you're going to have to.
I noticed on the BTC Markets website, they said if you want to talk to them about OTC,
Oh yeah,
you can do that. You know, so I think there are probably I'm sure there are ways for the, there's people wanting to get in. There's always people wanting to get out, and it's just
Yeah.
about matching them up. And I think that BTC Markets is pretty reputable, and but I think Independent Reserve as well has got a bit of status in
Well,
Australia.
I've got independent reserve, and you know what? Ended up getting the shits with them because I haven't logged on there and I haven't used them for about like a year, maybe more. And I tried to log in, I couldn't log in for the life of me. They got like this, I don't know, I'm not a bot thing or whatever it is, and there were two-factor authentication, and oh mate, and then I got locked out for trying too many login attempts, and oh mate, it was like.
Well, that's good though in a sense, because that means it shows they have really high level security.
Yeah,
So,
they do.
although it makes it difficult if and you think, well, I'm obviously it's my money and I'm honest and stuff, but by the same token, they're probably being extra cautious with stuff.
Mate, we'd have to be cautious with someone like the onus is on the user. The onus is on the user. You have to report things within the spirit of the law, and the law hasn't caught up with the technology. So there's grey areas where you can, now I'm in a position. I'm in a position where okay, I would prefer to do peer-to-peer transactional business, because it's such a pain for me to have to swap Hex for ETH and boot it back out to the exchange just to convert into Australian dollars. It's like 3 or 4. They tune you every time, so you end up losing X amount of dollars. And it might only be chump change, but like it's the principle of the matter, And if you can negotiate with someone who you want to do business with or whatever, and you can just agree, like for example, there's a guy he's a fabricator, and he does 4-wheel drives and stuff, and he's a Land Rover guy, and I was having a chat to him last year at some stage, and I was telling him about I shill Hex to anyone who will listen. So I started shilling Hex to this bloke, and he's like, oh yeah, no, me and my brother had a cryptocurrency business a couple of years ago, so I know all about that stuff. He accepts crypto payment for his business, for his.
That's the easiest way for sure. If you can find people who accept crypto,
mate. I can actually, yeah. It's better for it's a better value proposition for like buyer and seller or whatever the transaction is. It's a better value proposition to be able to just do these types of business deals using crypto directly.
So Zappers has put up a comment saying living room of Satoshi, $500,000 a day limit.
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
look,
surprised by that. That's
what he called. I've heard that name. He said that to me before. Living room Satoshi.
I've used living room Satoshi before.
Sapper.
Normally just.
Yeah.
But $500,000 a day, I'm surprised they have them. And also, I thought that was it Living Room Satoshi or another one which has actually, or maybe it was another one that have just, because I had one of those cards where you could just put Bitcoin. Well, you couldn't really put Bitcoin on it. You put Bitcoin to it, but then they just give you the Australian dollars at that point, and then you can go and spend that like you can tap a tap card kind of thing. But they're closing down.
Like Wirex. Wirex used to be pretty good. They actually used to pay proper Bitcoin reward. Now they just have their own token, and they just they give you their token has a value, so they give it to you for using their card. But again, it's a contract interaction, and I don't know how they were doing it. It must have been one of those freemium things where when they launched, they weren't charging for it. Or they weren't clipping the coupon on an exchange. So, whereas now to go from whatever currency to another currency, they'll take a percentage.
Yeah, sure. They got to make their money as well somehow. They're a service.
Fair enough too, and that's fair enough too. I wasn't begrudging it. I'm saying I was actually scratching my head trying to work out how they were actually making any money, because it was good because it said it was like 1 or 2 hops instead of 3 or 4 hops to get out. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just testing things out. I mean, I'm not talking cheap stations or anything.
You could also check out Ramp Network. I know we can buy from them, and that's pretty. And like they had Matic up that you could buy straight to Matic. So maybe and definitely ETH and USDC. So maybe, and they hadn't had the kind of opposite way. Like,
well, that was that smart wallet from the Staker app. That one, is that the one you're talking about? That Ramp? They were quite competitive. Yeah, they were quite good. I have to look at those. Yeah, I did. I almost put one through them.
and I've been on their website, and like maybe people can get up a Pulse pool on that. That would be amazing if we had a way to get from Fiat to Pulse direct and back.
Oh, mate. Well, that's it.
Otherwise, we're going to have to go through ETH. So that's just going to be an extra cost for no purpose. I mean, that's what we'll have to do, I suppose, at the start. Or unless exchanges start listing Pulse. But it's so weird that they're not listing Hex. It's so bizarre.
Isn't it strange? It's like I feel like I'm in like this. I don't know what it is. It feels like you've got this thing that you want to share, but you're watching the world go by. Everything's in slow motion, and you've got this thing that you need to get out, and it's like they're just oblivious to what's going on. It's weird feeling, eh? Like,
it's just so weird that it's so big and such a big market cap, and it's in the top 10, and it's got such a massive community behind it, and yet, like, hardly any no exchanges in Australia are going to list it. It's just like, and the stuff that they do list is just like absolute rubbish. Like, I've been seeing people's wallets and what they're buying, and I'm just like, people are full scattergun approach, hey?
Mate. Oh, mate, and you know what? There's they get crabs. There's a lot of crabs in buckets too. Like, my mate was sending me a message because I got him a golden ticket, mate. Like, he's got the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka factory because he put in like not much. Like, we're talking like a few grand or whatever, and he's up like he's in the six figures, mate. Like, and his other mate next door is like, I think he's must have a little bit of envy, and he's just going and buying in all the FUD and whinge, this and that and the other thing. And I said to him, just ignore it, mate. You're fine. Everything's good. You don't need to worry about it. Just forget about it. But
I've got very happy friends.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, look, it's going great. X is doing everything right as far as I can see, and I've just been sort of like having a hard time sort of keeping up with I guess the development. Has just added that there's certainly some layers of complication or complexity within that pulse chain stuff that is well beyond my I guess circle of competency, I suppose.
Yeah, and you might. The other thing is that if you are holding liquid Hex, maybe it's worth just staking. The staking is always going to give you the best value over time, and they have to be bigger and longer with the Ethereum ones, but you'll get them all over on the Pulse side. So, like,
I'm happy with my stakes.
The sacrifice stage might take a while until it comes. Maybe a few days, maybe a week, maybe two. Then there's going to be a wait for the actual fork date, and we won't know that when we're sacrificing. And it sounds like it's going all fantastic, but he's also said, it's the little things that can hold you up that you didn't think of. So maybe it's worth just playing the Hex normally as you would, rather than like putting a little bit aside for the sacrifice just in case. But if it's long stakes, you're just going to be earning interest every day, and you can buy in at the good share rate. So,
yeah, that's all.
I don't think that sacrificing that's the more speculative play, and I think that you'd be fine just playing Hex like you normally do.
Yeah, well, I actually don't have to do much. I don't really have to do much. That's the beauty of it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you just. When your stakes, well, if you start, I I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't speak like, I mean, like, because everyone's at different stages, and I think one of the things that I hear a lot of Hexicans talking about, and you know, you got to do this or you got to do that, but really, Hex is a game that you can play. You can play your own way. You know, you can do the things to suit yourself. But yes, there's definitely a lot of merit in staking longer. It does get, as the values increase, it does get harder to stake that amount longer, unless you've got a good clear vision for the future or something along those lines. But you know, what can I say, Bluey? I mean, we're just taking a day at a time, and it's just been great. Really,
Yeah, I think
I like it.
for new people, it's really, I think it's about doing your time. Like, as it goes on, it'll looks like it's increasing in value, and you're earning interest every day. And then as it increases in value, the interest that you earned in the past all becomes just more valuable as well. So,
Isn't it done so well? Yes, it has.
and it's still got that value for people coming in new. It's like just put in where you're at and for what your situation is. You know, you don't need to try to catch up to the people who've been in for a year longer, or a year and a half longer, whatever.
Yeah, right. So what else going on, mate? Who you been talking to, and what's have you got your ear to the ground? Sammy's been always busy on Twitter and whatnot, so she's doing good. Who else?
Yeah, I think it's just in a bit of a waiting kind of phase, you know, where people are kind of just waiting for the sacrifice stage to start and things to, you know, happen again, and also just waiting to see what happens with this, you know, this crypto crash for Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the alt, seeing how it plays out.
It's come down a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I've got a video on Twitter I was going to show, which was pretty funny. Let me see if I can you see the screen? You can't see it, hey?
I can just sort of see the outline.
Oh, you won't be able to read it then, because it's just like, it's pretty funny, but you'd have to
put it up anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Viewers, how many viewers we got? I don't know.
12.
12. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
There you go. There, YouTube. Yeah.
世界卫生组织总大会主席先生，
I don't matter if you can hear it.
大会主席先生，世界卫生组织总干事先生，各位代表，首先，我认为，在人类抗击新冠肺炎疫情的关键时刻，举行这次世卫大会，具有十分重要的意义。人类正在经历第二次世界大战结束以来最严重的全球公共卫生突发事件。新冠肺炎疫情突如其来，现在已经波及210多个国家和地区，影响了70多亿人口，夺走了30余万人的宝贵生命。大会主席先生，世界卫生组织总干事先生，各位代表。
What's that all about, Bluey?
You had to read it. It was just someone put subtitles to Xi Jinping.
Oh, right.
And they're pretty funny ones. I thought, I like those subtitle ones. I like all those Adolf Hitler ones. They're hilarious.
Oh, yeah, the old Adolf Hitler.
Those ones of that Belgian guy who's just pissing himself laughing all the time. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
The subtitles.
Some of the memes are classics, aren't they, in crypto?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fully.
It's like what's the other one? What do you call an Aussie with 100 girlfriends?
What?
A farmer. Oh, jeez. I got nothing, Blue. What else going on, mate? Like, I mean, what do you say? It's just sunshine, and it's just, yeah, man. It's just been, I don't know. I've been. It's actually been good. Sort of taking a bit of a break from it all, and just sort of like just trying to relax, and not worry about things as much.
Yeah. Well, we've had a good chat. Let's just leave it there and enjoy the day. Hey, it's been an hour and a half.
We're going to wind it up so soon.
Wind it up. Oh, it's not that soon. It's a good hour and a half. Like we probably run way too long anyway. Normally.
Hey, mate, you've had some good guests. We've had some really good guests on. You've been setting some trends there, mate, with old Gunter and
yeah.
Well, yeah, you got what's his name?
Dip catcher.
Hexaga. Who'd you get?
Yeah, Hexaga. Yeah.
Yeah, man, those guys are awesome, mate.
Other Hexicans should have Hexaga on. He was awesome, and like,
that's good.
Let's reach out to our Kenyan brothers and sisters. They're fantastic.
Yeah. So I went to the African shop over there, and they sold me a fake Gucci hat. So,
Children of the Grave reckons you look like a New York City cab driver. Actually, you kind of do. That's a very good call, children. That's pretty spot on.
We're gonna have to go for a ride, mate. We're gonna have to go for a ride, or we have a jam. We're gonna have a jam, and we're gonna go for a ride.
Have you ever been to New York?
Have I been to New York? No, mate. I'm very uncultured and uncouth. Like being an Australian, it's like what's the saying? Take away the snow-capped peaks and the culture and the good food and from New Zealand, and then what do you got? Australia.
Oh, yeah.
I've been anywhere, mate. I've been just working class most of my life. So,
I think you've never been like to any other countries besides New Zealand and Australia.
Correct.
Wow, you're gonna have fun, man. In the next few years, you're gonna be traveling a lot, eh?
I mean, anywhere. Yeah. Well, I've got a travel companion now.
Nice.
She's good. She's been around. She's been a few places over there, and I don't know. See what happens. You never count your chickens before they hatch, eh?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a done deal until the money's in the bank.
Yeah, right.
That's how the saying goes. But it is nice to. Nice. I get frustrated with.
Silver the Antidote reckons you look like Brad Pitt in Snatch.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah, Children of the Grave reckons you probably have some fuzzy dice hanging in the rear view or something.
I fucking do. I do, mate.
It does. Dunedin. Well, I've never been to Dunedin, but I've been to Dublin and.
Hey, got over the fluffy dice, mate. How's it?
Actually, Scotland, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah,
Mate.
nothing. Show us your fluffy dice then.
I just showed it to you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Children, you picked it, man.
Logan.
Totally picked it. Sylvie Anna wants to know what a dag is.
A dag? It's probably like someone who thinks they're cool is not cool and wears daggy clothes, like
unfashionable. Like a dag was kind of like a nerd, but not as intellectual.
Or what about this? Yeah, Dagwood dog. Excuse me, can I have a Dagwood dog? We go up to the stall at the Echo and we go, excuse me, can I have a Dagwood dog? Like this. And they look at you like you're a weirdo. You're like, yeah, well, those Dagwood dogs, mate, there they go.
A dag is actually also like the little bit of shit that hangs off a sheep's bum, isn't it?
Oh, it is too. A dag. Yes, a dag. A sheep's dag. Hey, mate, Butterham ginger, mate. Have a look at that. See that?
What's that?
Butterham ginger. I went up to the ginger factory last week, and those ginger beers are nice. Those
ginger beer.
They're the best ginger beers.
Is that a Bundaberg ginger beer?
No. You can't get them you have to get them right from the factory, Butterham.
Oh, and it's, yeah, right. Do they have a sarsaparilla?
They've got ginger with rum, ginger beer with rum. They've got ginger beer with vodka. They've got ginger beer with what's the other one? Oh, they got different ones, and they're they're beautiful. Compared to the ones if you go down to ordinary old Dan Murphy's down here and buy a ginger beer, it's not the same as this stuff. Like it's real, like it's made from like fresh gingers or something. I don't know.
Actual ginger.
Yeah,
That's
man.
why I like sarsaparilla, hey? But it's hard to get like actual sarsaparilla from the sarsaparilla root.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been having some interesting conversations, but like I said, like the hex just keeps going up every day. Like like in interest, you like keep getting interest. I look at Mistaker, interest goes up. It's like, man, this is good. It's like, so I don't feel. I actually, like early on, like even now, still, I don't like when if I'm selling a rip, it'll just be like small fish amounts. Like I've never sold a lot of I've given away probably more hex than I've sold. You know what I mean? And but it's nice to be in this position now.
Yeah.
It is, it's given me been able to actually let me relax, not worry about always chasing the dollar, always having to get up and go to work and do all this stuff. Like, it's got to give me a sort of a new perspective on things. And that financial freedom is a big deal, man. Like it is a big deal. So no, mate. I don't know. As I said, I just thought I'd be friendly and jump on and say good. I don't really have anything. I don't have anything groundbreaking or new to tell you or share or anything like that at the moment. It's just
it's good. It's good having a catch up, and I'm sure people are really happy to see you as well.
I'm
sure you're a fave. You give the colour to the cast.
Something like
you're like the Kramer of the unrekt crew.
Oh, right, I don't know if that's a compliment, but yeah, I'll wear that.
Yeah.
I'll wear the goofy hat. That's all right.
Silver wants to know if you've retired or not. He's trying to.
No, I'm not retired. I can't retire because Richard Hart says that you don't want to become a net. You don't want to be. I don't want to become a net seller of crypto, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be living in motels and playing video games and doing all that shit either. So, look, I've got some bucket list things that I'm starting to look at, and
what's on your bucket list? Tell us that.
Well, I've been kicking tires on some camper trailers and some other stuff. But mate, I'll tell you what, this swag is awesome. Like,
it's enough.
You know what I mean? Because you can just chuck it on the roof. You don't have to. I mean, I like towing, but I think that if you want to travel light, we just want to get away for the weekend or whatever, just throw the swag up there, and off you go. I got the swag up there right now. I slept in it last night, and it was brilliantly comfortable. And it's like takes nothing to set it up. Like it's literally just roll it out, bang, pump it up, and your bed's made.
Yeah.
So you can go on tour. It's a big country. Go wherever you want. And then just rock up to anywhere and just throw the swag out.
What if it really pisses down rain? Does it get a bit?
No, they're pretty. It's like it's all that ripstop canvas and everything. Designed in Australia. I've actually got a 3 meter awning on the passenger side. It just goes out, and then I've got an army box on the roof that I just basically put a ground sheet down, put the awning out, and then just throw the swag up that as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, right.
Swag on a stretcher as well. That's the other thing you can do with them. So, it's like it's one of those things. It's like power to weight ratio. It's like the more weight, the harder it is to sort of get around, and bigger, bulkier caravans. I see them on the road, and I see these Toyotas and things. They're overloading. They're overloading the back axle on some of these, particularly those dual cab utes. They really don't. The new cars and that, some of these new 4Bs, they do the bare minimum of engineering to make them work. And as soon as you try to take them off anywhere rough, off road, like proper off roading, bits break on them. You got to upgrade shit. This Land Rover here, I bought this from the factory in 2011. It's basically stock. I haven't done hardly anything to it. And mate, I've had it sideways. I've done all kinds of crazy shit in this thing. Yeah.
Well, you've tipped it.
What?
You've tipped it.
I nearly put it sideways. I put it sideways on sand dunes a couple of times. I jackknifed a camper trailer on the back, and we're obviously lads getting looking on the happy juice at the time as well, as you do. 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh shit! Nearly just ran over someone's tent. Then, whoops. But no, go this way. Like, yeah, shit like that. Oh Jesus!
Very much.
But we never made it to Cairns on that last month, mate. So I was spewing that I didn't get up there to meet you, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But it would just, slowly.
That's only a month away, hey?
It's like, slow and steady wins the race. That's
What airport should I get at? What airport should I get a ticket to? To Brizzy or to Gold Coast?
What for? The Hex meetup?
Yeah.
Oh, good question. Well, mate. Look, I'm happy to meet you at the airport. If you want to go to Brisbane Airport, I'll meet you there or whatever, and we can do something from there, or depending on what arrangements you've got. I've
got nothing.
Just you bringing the missus or what?
I think it's going to be just me. We'll see.
Yeah, right.
I think I prefer this to be just me, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, right. What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. One of those weekends, is it? Well, just make sure you don't end up.
It's a bit more complicated, but I don't want to speak about it right now.
I know that's all right. I'm not going to probe you. Don't worry. I know what it's like when a woman says to you, "Hey, mate, see this little snap lock bag? If you even look at another woman, your fucking nuts are going to be in there, and you'll be down the street."
Yeah, no, it's nothing like that.
It's happened a few times as well, just quietly.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we make a meal of this one, or maybe I've learnt my lesson finally. I'm nearly 50, so you expect me to you think you got to pull your head in some stage in life, wouldn't you? Stop acting like the woman you feel. Let's say you're only as old as the woman you feel.
Nah, dude, that's horseshit, dude. I don't know. I'm 50, and it's just like I'm 40 or 30 or whatever. It's like just life is life. You know what I mean? If anything, you have more awareness and experience and stories as the older you get. You know.
Yeah.
Everything changes. The whole world changes all the time. But yeah.
I wouldn't be dead for quits, mate. It's good to be alive.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's going to be good as the world opens up over the next few years.
Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting. I don't like governments dictating what you need, what you can and can't put in your body. I disagree with that.
Yeah, me.
I don't like the firm hand of I'll get this vaccine or else, because particularly when they've rushed it into and they don't, and there's already been some negative side effects in people, and it's like, is that worth the risk? I don't know. What's the bigger risk?
To me, it seems very obvious. I'm not touching it. Going to nowhere near it. I'm healthy. And like,
but what if they say, well, you don't get to go on a plane, Mr. Blue Bum. You don't get to go anywhere, Mr. John.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky.
Because I obviously want to travel, because I haven't been out. Like I said, I've been out of Australia or New Zealand, and in a bubble down here. I've learned about the world from documentaries and people that I talk to that have been everywhere. So.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All you can do is play the situation in front of you, and humans are infinitely innovative, so have a lot of confidence in humanity. And I think that governments trying to control people is always a desperate act and is doomed for failure. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, well, we are lucky to live in this country, though. Wouldn't want to be living in one of those, I don't know if I could say this, fucked up Middle Eastern countries. But anyway, there's some, I think there's some, we're lucky. We're very lucky to live here. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel very blessed, for sure. Loving it up here in Cairns.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, it's good chatting with you, mate. I suppose we shouldn't ramble on too much about just bloody. I don't know.
That's something that Hexicans can throw their money into, their economic energy to. Making our own airline, Hex Airlines,
Oh, can you imagine it?
for the unvaccinated.
The unclean, uncouth heathens over here. You're never going to heaven. And over here with you. Come on.
Righto, mate. Let's end it
Good
here.
chat. Good chat, mate. Thanks,
Yeah, I'm
Billy.
getting a bit hungry.
Keep putting the word out there. I mean, like, you know, there's some great content out there. I know there's like we just shoot the shit, but mate, I tell you what, you guys are getting really fucking clued in on what's going on with Hex. Like, I mean, Silver the Antidote, is he one of the blokes listening? You know, he knows his stuff, and you know, Wales only, mate. He's been going from strength to strength, and I mentioned the Joker before, and of course the discourse of syndicate guys are still ticking away, and hexologists and things like that. So I mean, look, it's got a lot going for it.
Did you hear Hexologist is taking a sabbatical or retiring or something?
Is he?
He's taking, yeah, I think he's going to go to day 555, which is coming up, and then he's going to take a break from it all.
Mate, I don't blame the guy. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's like sometimes like life gets in the way and you're busy, and the last thing you want to feel like doing is showing up on putting yourself on the internet.
Oh, especially daily. Like, he could easily just do a weekly or a monthly if he really wants to, and or just every now and then, just when you feel like it, so that you're having fun and it's not a thing that you're kind of like.
You don't want to feel like it's a chore or something like that.
Well, he's got a young family and stuff. He wants to go and enjoy some of his games, and he's just been having to do the daily thing. Like, yeah, don't tie yourself in. I reckon he's had a great innings, great run, and like take some profits, take some life profits.
Yeah, that's it. You never what do they say? You never go broke taking a bit of profit. Never go broke up taking a bit of profit, or don't want to be just stranded.
Okay. So I think it's gonna be a bit loud. So I'm gonna say we'll say goodbye to everyone, and I'll just end with the little dance number.
Start is complete. Project not complete. They're not the same thing. Promise returns and go build something. How much X is Bitcoin up now? 1,000 X over a penny. Who's designed to replace fiat currency? Back to the 10,000X. Smart fucker I am. 1,000 X over a penny. Who's designed to replace fiat currency? Back to the 10,000X. Smart fucker I am. But it was fucking designed. Listen, you stupid fucks, everything else is up higher. Bitcoin did 2 million X, $1,500 fucking dollars. 1,000 X over a penny. Who's designed to replace fiat currency? Back to the 10,000X. Smart fucker I am. 1,000 X over a penny. Who's designed to replace fiat currency? Back to the 10,000X. Smart fucker I am. Idiots could slap their lips. It did 2 million X in 2017. Fucking did. They're smart enough to notice that. Can't handle this in blockchain. 1,000 X over a penny. Who's designed to replace fiat currency? Back to the 10,000X. Smart fucker I am. smart fucker I am.